Good morning, everybody. We are winding down super close to the end of all things, which is good and bad and scary and exciting and all of the above. Um, just going to talk for a few minutes about your multimodal recast. I know I talked a little bit about it the other day, but after just reviewing your um, evaluations of the campaigns, I just want to point to a couple of things. Okay, saw a lot of really good campaigns that were being evaluated, many of them PSAs, some product advertisements, things of that. But what they all have in common is an appeal to that particular audience for their purpose. So think about that as you revamp your the issue, the controversy, the argument, the position that you have from your capstone. How could you identify a particular audience who's likely to benefit from hearing your message? Then, once you decide that, what's the best way to reach them? Okay. I saw a number of public service announcements. Where do those appear? If you used a brochure or a flyer, where would that appear? If you're looking at a couple of you did capstones on vaccinations. If you're reaching out to parents, presumably, since that's primarily what you're looking at is their infants, um, where would they actually find that information? Do you want to put it in a doctor's office if it's a pamphlet? Do you want to have a PSA on Twitter, on YouTube, a link? I mean, think about ideally, where would you have that appear? Um, should it be a TED Talk? Should it be a podcast? If so, where are people going to access it? That has to be part of your plan as you work toward this. So be specific. Somebody was looking at concussions in tackle football specifically among youth. Are you going to target that toward parents or towards coaches or schools or the general media, general population? Think a little bit about it. I need to know who your target audience is. Then design accordingly. All right. Almost all the campaigns that you looked at had plays on language. All right, we are language monsters. We love it. So if there's double entendre, if there's double meaning of any sort, if there's a catchy slogan, just do it. Nike, psh, forever. This is gonna stick. Got milk. Things like this stick. I could, if I had a brain this morning, probably run through a zillion different jingles, commercial ads, things like that. We attach ourselves to those slogans. So think about that. Humor, satire, we also appreciate that. So some of the nuances of using humor to convey a point of view that often helps. So I want you just thinking very carefully about how you're going to bring this audience to your target audience. You're going to bring your argument to your target audience, and how that's going to take shape in a multimodal fashion. Those are due tomorrow night by midnight. I hope that if you have any questions, you will email me, you'll text me, you'll get in touch with me. This is a big project. I'm looking for a lot from you, because I think it's fun and I think it's a super cool way to reinvent your argument for a specific audience. It's also probably the most applicable of everything that we've done, because you're going to have opportunities to put your voice out there in these methods, in these mediums, and this might very well be the way that you can be heard best. So think about that. Don't take it lightly. In addition to that, you of course have your fifth and last blog entry due. Then you have the blog project due on Sunday, which is the final piece for the entire semester. Let me talk about this for a second. All right. You need to go back and do a straight polish on all those blog entries. Think about them as publications. Correct any typos. Almost everyone I've read from beginning has something. So go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I know that's a cliche, but really scrutinize your entries. Look for opportunities to develop your entries. Don't just toss out a couple of sentences because this is how I'm feeling today. All right, dig in. Think about your reader too. Um, Blogs are fantastic for personal expression. I love them for that. But you also want to think about your reader. Okay, so think about that um, component. How is it that your reader is going to benefit? How are you going to engage? Blogs are typically meaningful and developed and personal, but also insightful or intuitive. So work a little bit with that. Include images if you'd like. I think that enhances frequently. I mean, you don't want to make it just an image, but maybe to coordinate those. Um, I'm going to talk just briefly about a couple of mechanical things. Carry this with you if you will, but if I see them in your blog, you're gonna lose points because it's ridiculous. Because I say it over and over and over again. But like the commonly committed errors, go back, double check your there, and there, your it's and its, your plurals and possessives. Listen, folks, if your noun doesn't own anything, you don't need an apostrophe. Okay. I know we learned this a long, long time ago, but then we see it often and people get confused. Um, you don't use that apostrophe unless there's some ownership involved. So plural, no apostrophe. Possessive, apostrophes. Contractions, apostrophes, but not for a plural word. Um, every day.